authorize purging of State Department personnel? What does that mean exactly?
Well, if you want to take a look at the State Department, where DEI has been a priority over, let's say, diplomacy in many accounts, I could give you hundreds of examples of where they were authorizing.
What proof do you have of that?
Sure, let's list them off. $500,000 to expand atheism in Nepal, $50,000 to do, let's see, a transgender opera in Colombia, $47,000 to do an LGBTQ trans comic book in Peru, $20,000 a pop to do drag shows in Ecuador. Shall I continue with more examples of
that? CBS host and woman overcome by the weight of her own incompetence, Margaret Brennan, doing what she does best, smugly asking a gotcha question only for it to blow up in her face. Welcome to Nerk News, I'm Nerkish, and it looks like Margaret Brennan just can't catch a break lately. Ever since Trump announced that he was running for a second term, it's been humiliating interview after humiliating interview. And that's not even counting her pathetic performance as moderator for the vice presidential debate, or the public apology she made for bashing Trump after the near fatal attack on his life. Here she is with Florida Republican Representative Brian Mast, once again proving that she might be one of the worst pretend journalists in establishment media.
It certainly seems like there could be a review of things. Foreign aid, as you know, is less than 1% of the entire federal budget. So we're talking small amounts of money by comparison.
We're still talking about tens and tens of billions of dollars. And if you want to go to somebody else on the other side of the aisle, Samantha Powers, she had a worthy goal, although it was a stupid goal. She said she was hoping to get the amount of foreign aid, USAID dollars that go to actual aid, up to 30 cents on the dollar from 10 cents on the dollar. That's a major problem, that we have this agency that's all that goes abroad.
I think
when
you're
it's the American workers' dollar.
I think now you're talking about the USAID, the aid
yes.
Agency, which is separate from the State Department currently and has about $40 billion worth.
Likely going to be rolled more closely under Secretary.
Yeah, tell me about that, because that's where I was going. Has the Trump administration informed you of plans to dismantle or significantly shrink this agency?
This is something that I'm working on very specifically in conjunction with Secretary Rubio to make sure that there's the appropriate command and control of these agencies, where, again, to make that same point, right now,
they already
maybe
report
10
to Secretary of State.
Cents. But 10 to 30 cents on the dollar is what actually goes to aid. So there's not the right amount of command and control that's going on with the way that it's set up currently.
You know, you can almost see how exhausted Brennan is from talking out of both sides of her mouth. Because the fact of the matter is, Democrats simply can't keep playing this shell game where they try to trivialize something because it's comparatively smaller to something else. They're currently trying to do it with fentanyl coming from Canada and Mexico, and now they're trying to do it with this. I mean, it's ridiculous that she's simultaneously trying to make a big deal out of this while also dismissing it as trivial because it's only 1% of $62 trillion.
Efficiencies in aid versus restructuring. So let me ask you about that. Like I said,
that requires restructuring 100%. You can't create that efficiency just by wishing it into existence. You have to restructure where the failures are and put the right things in place.
Of course. But what we're hearing from many of these aid organizations and officials is that, can you restructure after you finish the review and not freeze funding now immediately? I spoke to former USAID Global Health Head Atul Gawande yesterday. He told me this isn't a pause in foreign aid, it is a demolition of USAID. As he put it, you can't pause a flight in midair. That's what's happening. This immediate freeze in funding is stopping agencies in the field from being able to do the work they do.
Let's say why that is so important. And let's talk about the real facts on the ground. The Trump administration comes in, or representatives like myself that do oversight, the agencies will literally not tell us what they are writing grants for, literally, or they will lie about it, or they will tell the new political appointees under the Trump administration, I'm just not going to tell you that. Those are real things that have happened. So the way that you make them come and answer for where they are actually sending dollars is to say, we're freezing that, we're putting it on hold. You need to come to us and explain what it is you're doing, why you're doing it, and where it's actually saving life. And guess what? When they don't come explain something, that also begs the question, why were they doing it in the first place?
What Representative Mast is talking about here is actually something a lot of people on Trump's team experienced during his first term, where despite being under the authority of the executive branch, unelected officials with an axe to grind would purposely drag their feet on delivering vital information or outright refuse to hand it over. This is actually something something former Deputy Assistant for Trump's Domestic Policy Theo Wold has repeatedly discussed at length after Trump's first term, which clearly shows that Trump has learned some useful lessons from those obstructions and isn't playing around in his second term. But let me know what you think. How do you feel about the rampant abuse taking place at USAID? And what's your solution to it? Let me know in the comments, and if you enjoyed this video, please give it a like and subscribe to the channel. That stuff really does help us out. Until then, this has been Nerk News. Thanks for watching. Bye!